I remember this one time I designed a perfect machine part. It was super perfect. It was the most perfect machine part ever. And it was so perfect that the gentleman that was doing the programming on it came back and asked me to design some imperfections into the part. In this lesson in design intent, I'm going to explain why you may have to design some what would be considered imperfections into a part. Now, they're not necessarily imperfections in the sense that they're going to cause the part to fail, but there may be some things that you're asked to do to make life a lot easier for everyone downstream when it comes to making and assembling a part. And I'm going to explain one of the big lessons that I learned, this was years ago, on why you might want to have some imperfections. Now, over the years, I've had the absolute pleasure of working with all sorts of data. And one of those things was designing a fixture that had a very interesting set of circumstances. It was going to be machined from multiple sides, something like this, where the part was going to come in and be tooled up. So it was going to basically machined to that face. Let me go like this. And F8. So it's going to be machined to that face. And as you can see, there's this little bit of sliver face over here, but that's okay because with that little bit of sliver face, there is a tooling direction that can come in and clean that up. But this is all in one setup. This is all in one direction, indicating it, getting it cut, using a couple of different tools and clocking the table a little bit to change the direction that the angle is being cut in is not a big deal. The big deal comes in when you have to come in from the other side to do a machined process. Now, at some point, there is going to have to be a transition from what's being cut on one side to what's being cut on the other side. And depending on the part, if it's maybe non-critical structural or something along those lines, you may be asked to put in some sort of a parting element in between the two sides of that machined part, simply because it'll make everything downstream a lot easier for machining, for inspection, for basically everything. And the reason is when you're machining, let's say like in this case, a planar face, and then you have a little step somewhere in between, it's going to transition from one direction to the next direction, and then you have another planar face that's going to be machined. Where the two overlap, unless it is absolutely perfect, which as we know never happens, you can get really close, there's going to be some sort of a little step. There's going to be something there, a witness line, whatever that may be, that again, unless it's absolutely perfect, is going to fail inspection. It's just the nature of the game. So there are times when you need to have a slightly imperfect perfection in the part in order to make life a lot easier for the machinist. Now, this could even be on structural components, depending on where it's at and what's going on, in order to make life easier for everyone downstream. So in this case, we have a machine operation that's going to come in and it's going to touch down over here and it's going to do some cutting, and it's just a simple little pocket. Now, depending on what the machinist asks for, what they're requiring, the size of the tool, how deep they can go, etc., etc., like in this case, it may be easier to do some of the machining from one side because it's a shallower cut and less material is being removed, versus the other side because it's a deeper cut. So I designed the part thinking everything's going to be great, and the machinist, the person that's programming it, comes back to me and says, hey, we need to put in a little step, a tiny, tiny, tiny little step, basically 5/1000ths, right? It's not much, really, it's really not much, but it's enough to give not only the machinist, but the person that's inspecting the part enough wiggle room without really affecting the part to be able to not only make it but qualify it without having to have this perfectly machined interface between the two, especially in an area that's not going to be seen, or it's not going to affect stress, or it's not going to affect anything. So this is what I'm talking about as far as design intent. What we may think is perfect may be perfect for us because it looks great, but somebody may come along later and request that we have some technical, what would be imperfections in the part, but as I stated earlier, it just makes everything a lot easier. So in this case, I'm going to come in, and because of the way that I like to design, I typically design the tool that's going to be used as a removal for anything that's going to be subtractive modeling, subtractive made, machine parts, that type of thing. And because I'm an NX and I can do the same in CATIA, and I don't know how Creo handles it because I know it does multiple bodies now. I have no idea. But for something like this, I have the tool basically designed. And again, I'm simplifying this quite a bit compared to what there was there because I had to design several imperfections. But I think you get the gist of it. So I'm going to do a split body. I'm going to split it at this plane. So the machinist or CNC guy that was programming it came back to me and said, okay, this is the plane that we're going to go up to because of tool length and reach and all the other stuff. He defined all that. And sometimes you're not going to know this until they take a look at it. So you just have to be willing to be able to go back and make those changes and understand how the part was modeled to also go back and make those changes. Now, when I've done the split, there's my split body. And for this, all I need to do is an offset face. So for the offset face, we'll say this guy. He asked me to offset that face. Let's say I'm going to make it kind of obvious. It wasn't half a mil, right? It wasn't 20 thousandths. It wasn't a quarter of a mil. It wasn't 10 thousandths. It was literally 5 thousandths, 0.005 of an inch. Okay, so if this is 20 thousandths at 0.5 of a mil, 10 thousandths is 0.25, and 5 thousandths is 0.125, basically 0.125 of a millimeter. But I'm going to make it big and obvious so you can see the imperfection. Select OK, and come down, double click on my subtraction, and they'll tell you exactly what they need, obviously. So this is basically what it looks like. Again, I have overly exaggerated the size of this cutout. Typically, as I said, it's going to be something minuscule. Go to this offset face. It's going to be something like this. Let me update. So you won't even notice it, right? Once this thing has gone through finishing, passivate, cleaning, all that other stuff, this slightest of little imperfections is probably not even going to be seen, to tell you the truth, because again, it is minuscule. But for the sake of machining it, right, for the sake of being able to clean this up, so like I said, they're going to come in from one direction, their tool is going to come in and it's going to cut out this little pocket. Okay, this is a shallower cut on this side, a lot less material to remove with a smaller tool. Then, they basically plunged it in a little past this edge that I just designed in there, and then came back in there and did a final cleanup pass to this inside face. So this tiny, tiny little imperfection made their lives so much easier. Okay, and again, depending on what the material is, depending on the machine, depending on tolerances, you may actually be able to go a little bit smaller than that. Believe it or not, right? Maybe even 3 thou, which would be like 0.1 of a mil, less than 0.1 of a mil, which again, you're designing that imperfection into a spot that makes life easier for everyone downstream, because this had to be perfect coming across this face, and in some cases it needs to be because it just has to be. Then the machinist has a lot more work to do. Inspection, if that's an area that they have to inspect, they're going to have to do some crazy inspections to get whatever tolerances and realize the final shape in that area. So you may be asked to do these kinds of things. Now, notice I made things a little bit bigger. There's logic behind it. This radius in here, right, an edge blend, this is the size of the cutter. This is a 6mm radius cutter. Now, being as that this is just a hair larger, that cutter can come in and drive around these corners. If I made that smaller, I would have to use a smaller cutter, which we could not do because they were telling me the minimum cutter size is 6mm. And that's what we ended up doing, something along those lines. So typically, when you find out where those little imperfections are going to go, figure out a way to, as you saw, make it slightly bigger in most cases. Now, there may be an occasion where it might get smaller, but what I ended up doing is doing those tiny, tiny little offsets, making life a lot easier. So I basically took their machine time down, I don't know, half hour, some ridiculous amount of time, because now they are able to go in and clean up those imperfections. Okay, so if there was a slight little shift on the part from one side to the next when it gets tooled in there and, you know, another setup, whatever that may be, that little bit cleans that up. So that's what I mean by imperfect perfections or imperfections designed purposely into the model. Hope you learned something. This is a very important lesson for certain parts, certain people, certain things. Some machinists don't even know to ask for this. So you as a designer, now that you know this, this may be something that you can go forward and ask, see if this is something that the person making the part or qualifying or inspecting the part, seeing if that is even allowed. And like I said, some parts you may not be able to do that, but there are plenty of parts that I'm certain you can absolutely do something like that with. Again, hope you learned something. If you did, subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out. Leave a comment. Let me know if this is something that you've done or it's something that you just learned and may be able to get a chance to do. And of course, like the video and share with somebody you think may actually learn something from it. We hope. Anyway, have a beautiful day. Thank you.